Hey, what's up, everybody? Merry Christmas on this December 25th of 2016, episode 118 of Hash Church. Not to be missed. What did I tell you? We're not missing Hash Church. It's been 118 weeks, and we're not stopping anytime soon. I do want to thank everyone for actually kind of being here and showing up and checking us out while we're live on Christmas morning. You don't get that every day. I'm going to send out the link here real quick so we can get a couple of guests in, the people that are around, because let's be honest, not everyone is around right now. So we'll get rid of that one. We'll go to the next one. We'll let where's my other big group? There they are. There they are. Okay, boom. So send that out to a small group of people. We got 200 plus people already watching, which is pretty damn cool. I got my Christmas hat on. How cool is that? I'm ready to do dabs. I got my Klein right here. I was heating down my quartz banger because I got it so hot. Get that right in there. Booyah! Hey, it's Etienne. Kalika Kalika is the thing to see. I'm gonna put my headphones in.
Melakaliki everyone. Which is Hawaiian for Merry Christmas.
Welcome, Johnny B.
Hey, Johnny B. Merry Christmas. Bubbleman, were you up late playing Santa? Or up early playing Santa?
Yes, we were up late playing Santa. Welcome, Chris Bennett, to the room, as well as Chris's bird. What's your bird's name?
Popeye.
Popeye. And your cat?
Shankar.
And Shankar. Popeye and Shankar, welcome to the room along with Chris Bennett and the Skunk Man Sam. I think that Skunk Man Sam goes right in with that introduction of Popeye, Shankar, Chris, and Skunk Man in a pear tree. So how's it all going, everybody?
Pretty chill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got volcano bags going?
Yeah, I just got my volcano back from the Volcano Fix-It place and hadn't used it for a while. Forgot how high you get off those.
Yeah, there's definitely some vapor anxiety sessions that have occurred in the past where you just think you're not really getting anything and it's like 100 bags later and you're just like, It took a while, but I definitely remember having that experience with the actually in Germany with the volcano people. At where was it? It was in Dortmund at one of those cannabis shows. Did you ever go to those cannabis shows, Sam? No,
Sam's on mute.
Sam's on mute, and he's talking, but he doesn't realize he's on mute. Awesome.
There's his forearm.
That's what I'm talking about. I recognize that forearm.
Yeah. The forearm managed to live through Christmas over here.
One day you'll be somewhere reaching across a table and someone's gonna be like, "Hey, you're not Sam the Skunk Man, are you? I recognize your forearm from Hash Church."
Maybe I should get a little tattoo of Sam I Am on it.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, well, I just sent Indra the link. Hopefully he can come and make an appearance with us today. And I was kind of hoping my friend Ron, one of my old mentors, one of my original mentors, really a guy that inspired me to do a lot of great things with cannabis, a cannabis warrior, I will say about Ron, that is for certain. He might come in today. And if he comes in, man, there's going to be some good stories because I'll tell you, people are going to be like, between Sam and Indra and Ron, I think the trilogy will be complete, and we'll have another great elder to come in and share some unbelievable, surreal stories that just even today really sort of stand out as completely off the wall, insane. Very cool. Oh, look at that.
So I have to ask, what did the wee ones get that they were excited about there?
Oh, well, okay, my little guy is so ridiculously cute. He wanted for Christmas 2 bad guys, 1 digger, some candy, and a can of beans. Now, we're not sure where the can of beans came from, and it's just kind of him trying to figure out and understand what Christmas is, but he definitely, for the last, month and a half has been saying 2 bad guys, a digger, canny, and a can of beans. So he was pretty darn excited, I'm not gonna lie, opening up that digger and opening up the can of beans. He opened up a can of beans, not to be confused with a can of whoop-ass. Pardon my language.
I think that is the first child I've ever heard that wanted beans for Christmas.
No, Mexicans do it all the time.
Well, you know, maybe he's got some Mexican in him, you know? Can of beans. He wanted a can of beans. He got a can of beans, all right? The kid got his beans. So it was cute. It's obviously, Christmas is definitely all about the kids and watching them have their fun and enjoy opening up their gifts. Always fun. I had so much shit in my fireplace going that I was like, I better close these glass doors. And then I was in my kitchen when I heard one of the glass doors just blow out like someone shot it with a 45. So I was like, oh yeah, hot glass all over the carpet, melting and slowly sinking downward. No worries, I fixed it. It definitely didn't feel as bad as a mothership breaking, so I was okay with it, really. Don't anyone shed any tears. The ship is intact.
I got my granddaughter a little, what are they? It's a little robot dog called Zoomy or Zoomer or Zoom something.
Oh yeah.
He was quite impressed. She charged it up and was telling it to sit, roll over, and do all this silly stuff, and it was doing it.
Oh, wow. All right, so did you say you got her Zoomers?
No, I got her a robot dog that is a name is Zoomer.
I'm just bugging you. That was my sick, twisted humor. Did she love it?
She was still playing with it when I left her house about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So you got to spend some time with the fam.
Absolutely. I'm completely up to my nose of family, and I'm glad to be doing something else right now.
I think Indra wants to get this via email. I sent it to him a different way, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? No invite." Of course, we have Indra. It's crazy when I forget or it doesn't work out, and I feel people sort of stress of like, "What's going on? Like, he's not inviting me to Hash Church anymore." I'm like, "Dude, I'm definitely inviting you to Hash Church." How are you doing, John?
Merry Christmas!
Dude,
Fantastic!
You got the
Awesome.
Christmas hat on?
I've been wearing this for 2 days. I got the whole hat on.
Johnny B. Well, say Merry Christmas to everyone out there, man.
Merry
They've been
Christmas to everybody. It's great to see
missing you.
everybody. And you know what? I'm just having a fantastic morning, and I got my new Heady Glass espresso.
Ooh.
John, is that a pimp hat?
That's my pimp hat.
That's why his says ho ho ho.
Oh,
That's
hello.
what I was thinking.
And of course, I got this beautiful flower rosin that we pressed out on the Sasquatch, and that's my Christmas dab. And I'm doing a dab with you guys right now.
Christmas
Merry
dabs.
Christmas, everybody.
Maybe I'll hit some of this Barb dry sift that I still have laying around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's puffing a nice bowl this morning and
Hey,
enjoying
where's-
their hashy Christmas.
Where's D420K? That's someone that I haven't seen yet this morning, and I know he was in the chat. There's Indra. Welcome, Indra. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Kalikimaka, Indra.
And I know he was in the chat. Oh, he's just going to
Gotta
chuck
meet
that
the
YouTube
YouTube.
video down.
To all of whatever it was.
That's so funny that I was gonna say the same thing when I came in. I was like, to one, and then I was like, fuck, I don't even know how that ends. So that's pretty funny. I think it was to one and all a good night or something. But I see you got your Hitman. Hitman.
And have a good night, isn't it? Or have a hashy night.
There you go. Something like that. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the exact same thing, but I didn't know how to finish it. So that's awesome. Hopefully Ron comes in. I'd really like to see him come in and tell some stories. 430. Who's got the YouTube chat still going? Just mute that if you can.
I think it's Indra. You need to mute the YouTube channel.
Yes, the YouTube channel. Well, I'm down to have a bowl with all of you guys. It's kind of cool. I wasn't sure what was going to happen here on Christmas morning, but well, starting a couple hours late allowed me to do all the Christmas with the family. We had a really cool experience where my mom in Manitoba FaceTimed us, and then I air videoed it onto the TV and just just put the phone up on the ledge. So basically, let me just mute the cough there. So basically, we had FaceTime. My mom in another province was like on our 60-inch TV opening presents with it. It was very futuristic and cool. I hope everyone had a good Christmas morning, and I'm sure. Go ahead.
So I was going to start off with you, Bubbleman. So what is your most memorable Christmas and most memorable Christmas gift?
Wow, that's a tough one. Geez, most memorable Christmas. Well, right off the bat, I'd have to go. Okay, I think I know, dude. It was obviously as a kid, I was kind of like a lot of kids. The big one always was like, whoa, look at that one over there. It's a big one. And it was before the big onset of electronics, which really changed that whole big one thing, because now these little presents are basically the epic presents. But back then, these big things were amazing. And I was probably like maybe 8 or 9 years old. And I was quite into music, maybe even 10 by then. But I was quite into music. I collected tapes. I loved all the rock metal music like AC/DC and Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and all these metal bands from the 80s, as I was a child of the 80s, 70s and 80s, born in 73. But between 8 and 10, I was given this stereo system, and it was like super cheap, Walmart, well, Kmart at that time, like thin, tall speakers, a $90 stereo system with the record player on top and the two cassette players. And that to me was probably one of my most memorable, more than even a video game and stuff, because that allowed me to start listening to my dad's records on my own record player without, because I wasn't really allowed to kind of touch his with the needle and stuff. And suddenly that's kind of when his records became mine. And it was really, geez, to be able to get into music as good as I did those 4 to 5 years before I started puffing was just, it was wonderful, let me tell you. By the time I started puffing, I was deeply schooled in music. And my dad had all the great records from, like Zeppelin and all the Beatles, the Stones, just all the old great rock and roll, Eric Clapton with Cream and the Yardbirds and all the other crazy bands these guys had. My dad just had stacks of these records. So for me, it would be the stereo, getting turned on to the records.
Christmas is for kids. It's not for adults. Come on, my favorite thing is to watch my granddaughter open her presents.
Yeah.
Well, right. That was my reference, is that, I knew that all of us, it would be childhood memories of Christmas.
I was never a child.
You just went straight to adulthood, huh? You were grafted?
Did you have that ugly beard and wear glasses at birth?
I don't wear glasses, and I don't have a beard. Well, yes, I do have a beard, and I used to wear glasses, but I don't anymore. I had surgery to correct it.
I like that Rick James style answer. I don't wear glasses. Well, I did wear glasses, and I don't have a beard. Well, I do have a beard. Well, let's have a puff. Let's just have a puff.
I don't take puffs.
Well, I do take puffs.
I just inhale. I don't take the puff.
What I'm talking about, of course, is the classic Charlie Murphy scene, the Rick James scene with Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy, where Chappelle is playing Rick James, and he's messing up Eddie Murphy's couch, his brand new like $11,000 white suede couch. He comes in with these huge, crazy disco boots covered in mud and just like starts muddying up Eddie Murphy's couch. This is a story that happened back in the day. And Rick James, the real Rick James, is interviewed by Chappelle, and they're like, did that ever happen? Did you ever muddy your boots and get them all over Eddie's couch like that? And Rick James is like, no, I didn't. Come on, what kind of a person am I? I'm not gonna go up on someone's couch and muddy up their couch. Yeah, I laid on his couch with muddy boots and muddied up his couch. Like, he doesn't even break in his sentence. It's an incredible moment of like cocaine-induced psychosis, brain damage.
Cocaine
yeah.
is a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, Etienne.
James, he's my hero.
He's okay. Hey, let's have a bowl. Come on, where did Johnny B go? Did he disappear on us?
But you know what? You lived in the 80s and you got into all that music. but it doesn't always happen that way because my dad liked Merle Haggard, a few of those, and I didn't get into any of that. In fact, the only way I actually got a guitar out of him was that I would learn his favorite song on the guitar, which was a hillbilly song. I can't remember the name of it now because I successfully wiped it from my memory. But
Okie from Muskogee.
Yeah, something like that. And I had to learn that, and I played it on a friend's guitar, and then he brought me downtown to Naha in Okinawa and bought me a $4 guitar, which in 1950 was a very fancy guitar, by the way.
$4?
$4. I played that guitar for a couple of years, and he decided that I learned 2 more country western songs, and let me tell you, it was like pulling my own teeth out with a pair of crappy pliers.
Well, you did it the right way, because now the strings will cost you a single string more than $4.
Everyone, Darren and Dabs have something to say.
Let's hear it.
Bong rip.
Mother lubbers.
Bong rip.
What's up, Dabs?
My new dog.
I want to see the dog take a dab, though. Come on.
So we got Popeye, we got Shankar, we got Dabs in the house right now. This is Pet Church. If you got a pet, go grab it.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Bong rips.
I'm ready, D.
Okay.
Merry Christmas. I'm
ready. 2
Perfect.
seconds. Let's do this. I'm using a giant Herkimer crystal as my carb cap.
I'm ready right now.
Are you ready? I'm dipping.
How do you pause?
Yeah, I can't dip.
Hey, you see, I got a new top for mine. It's a titanium top, but it has its own carb cap built right onto it.
Yeah, the bowler one that Hitman does.
Yeah, those flip caps are great.
Wow.
All right, let's go down the line. Chris, what was your best Christmas and favorite and most memorable Christmas present, Mr. Bennett?
Oh, I'd have to say, giving my kid a huge Godzilla after he first got obsessed with Godzilla, and he just, I think like Sam said, it's all about the kids. You know what I mean? Those are the best memories. Seeing the smile on the kids' faces and laughter and shit like that. That's for sure my best memories.
But don't you remember being a kid?
Right. What was your favorite Christmas present as a kid?
My favorite Christmas present? I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. Probably
Nobody gave you a bust of Aleister Crowley or anything as a
nothing
kid?
like that. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe some Ved Puliquist puppet or something I got when I was a kid. I think I liked a lot. I don't know, man. Haven't thought about it for a long time.
That's it, man. I tell you, I had to think about it for a second myself. I definitely haven't thought about it.
We'll think about it, Chris. We'll just move right down the line here to D. So,
Chris,
Darren, what's your most memorable Christmas and Christmas present?
Well, I've had some good ones. I've had lots with many different families growing up and everything like that. But I think my favorite Christmas ever is getting a bike, getting like a BMX or a mountain bike or something like that.
Yeah.
It was one of those. It was one of those little pedal bikes that looked like a little dirt bike that had the gas tank, wheels, and the handlebars. I felt like a little biker. I cruised around. I did wheelies on it, shit, fucked around. It was fun. It was one of my favorites.
It inspired you.
Yeah. My favorite parts of Christmas, though, would have to be the stockings. My mom always – it's what I miss about Christmas now the most, and that I try to implement. I didn't this year, but I'm going to. I have done it lots of years, but we spread out pretty much this year. But is the stockings. Mom always did the stockings right up, all little wrapped up presents, little neat little gadgets and things like that. So, yeah, that's my memory of Christmas and my favorite spot. Next.
I used to put mouse traps in my little stockings that I hung up for my kids.
Trying to get Santa.
And that was your favorite there? Come on, Sam, you're next. So what's
I
your
didn't say it was my favorite. Well, I can't think of my favorite. I can't think of my favorite present, but I can remember giving my wife a 25,000 euro car. She was happy.
Santa stopped by here on his way back up to the North Pole to say bye to the kids.
Oh, snap.
Does Santa want to do a dab? Oh, shit. Here.
Oh, Santa, come have a dab on Hash Church, man.
Are you kidding me? We got Santa dabbing? That's awesome. Do the reindeer need some cookies? Or
You
some
know what?
edibles?
Santa needs a turp dip too.
Oh,
Turp dip,
dude,
banana.
you called it, D. Santa does need a turp dip.
Turp dipping.
People in the chat are tripping out. They're just like, wow, Santa's in the... I knew Santa dabbed. That's so badass.
Oh, hey.
Hey, it's nice to see Santa not drinking.
Well, he does need a glass of reindeer milk.
Oh, fucking legend. Turp dip Santa. So good. The dabbing Santa.
I got to dab with Santa. Everybody, let's dab with Santa.
Dude, well played, gentlemen. Well played. Only
A
on
dab with
Hash Church.
Santa. Welcome, Santa, to House Church.
Oh, fucking rights. That's so awesome. Wow. Does Santa say bong rip?
Bong rip.
Woo!
That's awesome. Ah,
Oh, fuck. Hey, Santa knows the importance of feeding your endocannabinoid system.
Does.
For a few years now.
Yeah, for quite a while, Santa's been feeding his endocannabinoid system quite thoroughly.
Well, you got to think Santa's no dummy.
No, he knows everything.
Dude, he's checking his list.
I tell you, the kids were sure surprised when they seen him. Emily
I bet.
came up and said thanks for all her presents right away, and yeah, big hug, and
Santa's got it made, because just think how easy it is to make dry sift up there in the North Pole.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. He does have it made. No
Well, you
walk-in
know-
freezer for him.
yeah,
You know why Santa doesn't have any kids, right?
Tell us.
Because he only comes once a year and it's down a chimney.
Oh, shit. and Tian just taking it to the dirty birdie level. He's like, all right, so these guys are telling dirty jokes. They've got Santa taking dabs. What kind of a church is this?
The best kind.
the best.
The best kind. Who said that?
Best damn
Santa?
church ever.
House Church.
All right. I'm having a dab. That was awesome. I'm not going to lie. I had no idea Santa was going to come in and have dabs on Hash Church. I feel like I did when Lester Grinspoon came in. This is amazing.
Kids always wonder how Santa's able to reach all of the houses in one night. And that's how he does it. Dabba-dabba-doo.
Dabbing up.
I'm telling you, how else could he do it? Holy
And
smokes.
Santa's a very
And his reindeers.
watcher of Hash Church. He watches every Sunday, and he knows when every one of you have been naughty or nice out there. Every one of you.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Is that why I got coal?
Yeah, you handed out a few. You might have been one.
Chunks of rocks, little kind of chunks of hard rock.
I thought it was coal. I cracked it open. It was a diamond.
In the rough.
In the rough. How's Dabs doing? Your new doggy.
She is she's having a nap now. She's pretty amazing. She's pretty cool.
Where'd you get her?
From Chilliwack. She's a Russian Svetnaya Bolonka Shih Tzu cross.
Holy shit, she's Chilliwackanian.
Yes. She is she's quite the little doggy. She's 10 weeks old, very outgoing little pup. She's not scared of tickling much or anything, chasing the cats around and chasing the kids around and part of the family instantly. A little bit challenging the first couple of nights because I'm not letting her sleep in my bed because I don't want to get her in that habit. So she's in a bed beside the bed on the floor, and she's taken to it nicely, but the first night was in a little bit of a pen, and she don't like the pen. She was just losing it. So I had to basically play with her with a toy on the floor until she went to sleep, and then I went to bed. Just like a little baby, pretty much. And then she went to sleep. I was taken to it nicely. It's a really good dog. Love her. Good road companion for me.
Awesome, man. Glad. I could see how happy you were. Very nice little road companion. You can take that dog on the bike.
Exactly. She will be trained to ride on the bike for sure. Absolutely.
Watch, you'll think it's like an
Of
8-pound
course.
poodle, and it'll end up being like a 240-pound mastiff.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be no more than 10 pounds, but
My friends bought a mastiff in Indonesia when they were living there, and it wasn't supposed to go over 120 pounds, and it ended up being, I think, like just under 200 pounds. It actually took them almost a full year to get it out of the country because none of the flights, the cargo, none of the places that they nearby, they basically had to drive this dog into another zone, to another airport, to be able to fly it back to North America. But man, this dog is big fluffy.
Favorite presents. This is my favorite stuff. I get these mugs for Christmas of the grandkids.
Dude,
Like I have coffee mugs and everything, but I've got about 4 of these mugs. These are the only mugs I use. I love those. Are my favorite presents, man.
I got those as well. They're my Father's Day gifts generally, and I've got about 3 or 4 of them. And man, I'm the same way, dude. I would be so bummed out if one of those broke. All right, dabs up.
Dabs up. Long
Dabs
rip,
up.
lovers.
Terp dipped into the Clementine for the win.
I'm gonna go into some purple Hindu. Koosh.
All right, I'm gonna move my question along then while everybody dabs. Then, since Sam didn't really have much of a memory, to Indra, what's your earliest Christmas? What's your Christmas memory, and what's your favorite Christmas present that you remember?
Well, I will start here and digress a little bit backwards. My favorite Christmas present this year was Frankenstein Extractions sent me some of their products to try, which is what's choking me to death here this morning. That was my favorite Christmas present this year. When I grew up, there was 11 kids in the family, so we didn't get much in the way of toys. We always got clothes given to us every Christmas, like it was a present or something. And I used to think, well, if I don't get any clothes for Christmas, I'll just go naked. And being in Okinawa, I mean, it was plenty warm. But I guess my favorite Christmas was the one after my dad dropped me off at the recruiting station when I was 17 on my 17th birthday. It was my 18th birthday Christmas, because I was allowed now to go and buy myself something. I had that paycheck from the Army. It wasn't much, $170 a month, but they gave us all the food you can eat. And for me at that time, that was like $2,000-$3,000 worth of food every month. And I had that money, and I saved that money up, and I went to the PX and I bought myself a camera. And I'd always wanted one. And, you know, I'm as nutty about cameras as you are, Bubbleman. But until of late, I hadn't been able to afford the right kind of thing. But Todd turned me onto a program which you can connect to your camera, and it just rotates the focus ring a tiny amount each time. Aperture, yeah. And man, oh man, I have been having more fun with that than you can point a stick at. It was the hottest thing since sunburn. I could actually use my cheap camera to start getting some results, because I just have an old Nikon D3300, which is like, it barely has Nikon spelled right on it. It's so cheap. But yeah, I've been taking pictures of all the different kinds of 99 stuff that I got given to me at the Emerald Cup. And most of it, in the interim, if I hold it in my hand very long, just changes into like a piece of melted glass. And some of them have color to them, but for the most part, they're all just very transparent. And you definitely got me hooked on that, Bubbleman. I got all kinds of material here for it now, and I sent off for a press, and it's an electric press from China. It's the new. No one has seen it yet. I'm the first one that saw pictures of it. They're going to release it through me, and it gets. It's totally electric, so you don't need any pumps or a compressor or anything like that. And it's got a 6x6 platen on it, which you can change to different configurations. And it reaches 3,500 psi and does it all electrically. So that's going to be a lot of fun when that shows up, because you have got me hooked, Mr. Bubbleman. You got me. I've got bag after bag after bag of 140 screen trichromes.
Dude, you're telling me, look at my scenario. I have a bloody Sasquatch press and a friggin' giant air compressor, like in my office, on my desk.
Yeah, I know. I looked at the Sasquatch. I was seriously thinking, but this Chinese guys have got my attention.
Well, check it out, right? You got to check it out. See how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than $300, and
perfect.
Why not?
Gets you in the game cheap.
Marcus, I took out the passenger seat of my car. I mounted one of those in the passenger seat.
So you're the next level. You've always been the next level, though, Sam. Come on now. He's not even joking. That's the most ridiculous part of this. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I can see him parked on the street in Holland running a rosin press.
Oh, Darren's putting it out there.
He's putting it out there.
I wouldn't mind doing another bong rip. I think we should just get annihilated today. Santa needs to come do more dabs later, too, because that was just friggin' awesome.
All right. Well, then for this dad, Mr. Burfalo,
Jack Frost.
Most memorable Christmas and Christmas gift.
I want to see some of the elves do some bong rips.
Some elves. Most memorable. You know, I'd have to, I was going back to when I was a kid, and of course that's the most memorable, and probably the best gift that I ever got was from my father. He did it to me twice. Once when I was 3, I could vaguely remember, and that was my Indian 50 motorcycle. And I remember briefly, and he talked about him walking into the trailer carrying this Indian 50 with a big bow on it for a Christmas present. I was 3 years old. And when I was 7, I also got a motorcycle for Christmas, and it was a YZ80. And that one I strictly remember going outside and seeing the YZ80 out there, and it was pretty awesome. So it was definitely motorcycles for me, and I still have those Indian 50 leather riding pants when I was 3 years old upstairs. So it's always been a big memory in my life of that. That was the most epic thing I can ever remember, is my dad carrying this motorcycle, and just remember it's kind of being in my brain my whole life because it had the leather riding pants, and it's been it was awesome. And, today it's now I get a beautiful piece of glass, epic stuff. That was my most memorable, is my motorcycles from my father. Definitely.
Awesome.
All right, Dr. Scale Down.
Hey, welcome, Mark.
Welcome. And you get the same question: most memorable Christmas and most memorable Christmas present.
My most memorable Christmas?
Fish Christmas 96, man. Fish Christmas 96.
He found a box of old dead tapes.
My birthday is on the 29th, so usually, I'm usually at a Fish concert somewhere, typically in Madison Square Garden, New York. Sometimes down in Miami, like the last couple of years. We've been down in Miami a few years, but my wife and I haven't missed a New Year's Eve Fish show since 1991.
Jeez, that's impressive, dude.
Yeah, we have a pretty long run, and so we got to keep it going.
Keep it going. That's longer than the Hash Church run. That's really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess my most memorable, Christmas present, I would say, would obviously be my Gilbert chemistry set. They used to have these chemistry sets where these steel case things that you basically had little
I
rack
had
of test
one.
tubes and a whole little bunch of collections of salts. And yeah, was it the Gilbert chemistry set, Sam?
It was the Gilbert chemistry set that came in a metal
Yeah.
carrying case.
Yeah. So I guess my most memorable experience with that was I was told not to mess with it, until my dad got home, obviously. I mean, that was always the biggest thing, don't play with this until your dad gets home. And I was given the, book of instructions, which was a thick little book of all kinds of facts and, inventory of the set and all that thing. But I just wanted to get to the business. And so I actually had taken the liberty of opening it up and took out like the test tube holder and the test tube rack, and the case itself opened up, and it was basically a little shelf of all these little salts like calcium sulfate and iron chloride and things that don't really react too much. And so I took the spatula out and I took a little bit of each of the powders. Some of them were yellow. There was one that was blue. I think it was a cobalt salt that was blue. And I added it all to the test tube, and nothing much happened. So then I took out the alcohol lamp, and things got a little exciting because back in those days they didn't have Bic lighters or cigarette lighters, so I had to go actually roust up a book of matches. Remember matches?
Oh, and we remember matches.
Yeah, so my dad was a pipe smoker and my mom smoked cigarettes. So I had to go upstairs. I was in the basement. I had to go upstairs and get a book of matches. And so I found a book of matches in the drawer and I went downstairs. And remember, when you light a match in any room in the house, you could instantly smell it, right? Because there's a sulfur smell. And so I guess when I lit that match, my mom, who I think was upstairs doing laundry or something, came downstairs because she knew that someone had lit a match in the house. And by then I had the alcohol lamp burning and the little test tube was bubbling away. And when I turned to see who was coming down the stairs, I must have tilted the test tube ever so slightly, and it hit a hot spot on the test tube. And all the stuff in the test tube came flaming out onto the flame, and it sent this huge blue-yellow flame across the front of my face, and it singed my eyebrows. And it was the first time I had smelled burnt hair in my life, and you never forget that smell of burnt hair.
Damn.
So, and my mom came downstairs and she's like, "That's it. You and chemistry is over. You're never going to play with chemistry again. You wait till your father gets home." Blah, blah, blah. So I would say that would be my most memorable Christmas moment. I was supposed to wait for him to get home, but I took it out anyway.
That's an extremely memorable, intense story. I mean, talk about you'll blow your eye out. You'll burn your face. You'll burn your face off. Which reminds me, did you see the photo that I tagged you in on Facebook? This one here.
Which was that?
Kid, your face.
Oh yeah, with the Garcia guitar, right? Yeah.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard when I saw this. I'm telling you, I definitely thought of you, Mark, as well as a few other friends.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be
Classic.
thought of around the holidays, right?
So was that chemistry set also your most memorable gift?
I think so. I mean, that's the thing that I remember the most. I mean, I was like Indra. I mean, for me, it was about getting clothes. I mean, I remember getting a baseball mitt. I remember one time we got a wagon, and obviously a wagon's like a big gift, and I had to share it with my two brothers. Well, that got old real quick inside, when that's outside toy. But I remember just being really grateful about having anything under the tree, because I knew families that didn't have a lot of money, and so I knew that we were really fortunate. That's what I knew.
Very nice. Well, that's a good thing to grow up with, knowing, realize your fortunateness.
All right, yeah. Y'all want to hear an epic story?
Oh yeah, let's hear it, Etienne. He's been waiting.
This better be epic.
Well, Santa's gonna do a dab while Etienne tells the story.
So this starts off with, I was a good little Catholic boy, and my mother was the secretary to the Archbishop. And I went for my first confession. This happened a week before Christmas, actually. And with my first confession candle, we came home, woke up the next morning. Well, I was a sneaky little bastard, and I learned how to sneak into my mom's bedroom on my back, shuffling, and I could reach up and grab the alarm clock, bring it down, and just move the alarm far enough so that the nothing would actually transpire, except I could move the time enough that my mom could not get us all ready in time to go to church. Okay, so I did that. I snuck in, actually moved the alarm just far enough away, and then I went into the living room because I'm like, no, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I'm like, ooh, I'll turn on the TV. So I go and I quietly turn on the TV. Back then, remember, there were only 3 stations, and they were all playing Jimmy Swaggart. He was a televangelist, and he was in the Superdome giving a live church, and it was broadcast on every single channel. I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, well, what do I do now? And I turn around and I see my first confession candle, this white, long little candle. And I was like, I'll go play with that candle. And I'm 7 years old, by the way.
7.
7 years old. So I take the candle and I go into the closet because it's dark. I was looking for somewhere dark. And so as I'm in the closet, I'm playing with this candle. Of course, back then I got matches, just like you said. So I really laughed. You said matches, Mark. So I struck a match, and I have a candle, and I'm sitting there and waving the candle in the dark. It was really boring. Well, right next to my head was my old rubber rain suit. And as I moved the flame over to the pants, they shrank, and I saw trails or little tracers. I was like, whoa. And then I took that candle and I did it again, and it shrank again. And like an idiot, I did it a 3rd time. And on the other side was my sister's green, early 70s velveteen dress, which was toxic polyester as fuck. And it immediately goes, Foosh! Oh shit!
Jesus.
Literally. So I run into the kitchen and I grab a glass of water, and I run into the closet and I throw the glass of water on the dress. Boom! It spreads further. So what does a 7-year-old do? He runs back to the kitchen, grabs a bigger glass of water, runs back. I throw water on the fire, and of course it spread even further because, again, everything in the closet is all 1976, so everything is polyester kids stuff, so it just all was melting. So I realize I'm fucked. So my brother's blind. He's in the room. I'm like, I grab him. He's in his, I remember he's in tighty whities and wife beater, and I throw him out the window. Now, this is the ghetto of New Orleans, by the way. So there's Andre, blind, out in the house, stumbling around in the early morning. I run to the bedroom because my sister and my mom are in there. I'm like, Mom, the house is on fire. She's like, oh, go back there and try to move the clothes. I'm like, good idea. I run back, and the entire closet's just engulfed in flames. I just remember just everything is just dripping, and I'm like, well, there's no way I'm moving anything. And I run back. I'm like, not happening. And so she's calling the fire department, and I get my sister out, and I get out, and I'm in my underwear, and I'm staying across the street now. And my mom comes out, and the entire house just engulfs because we left the windows and the doors and everything open. And the entire house standing there goes up in flames. So my mom divorced my dad when I was 1, so he lived 2 blocks away with my grandmother. And as I'm standing there, the Red Cross is showing up. They put the blanket around me, and I can hear the sirens off in the distance as they come closer, as the fire department, everything is just, going on.
Shit.
And then the next thing I remember is my father, who's blind. I can see him approaching me to my right, and he comes up to me, and he puts his hand on each of my shoulders, and he does his best impression to look me in the eye, because remember, he's blind too. He asks me, and realize this is the first question I've asked since my first confession. And at my first confession, Cameron, he said, "Did you have anything to do with this fire?" And I said, "Absolutely not."
Oh.
So I lied. Right after my first confession, the first question I was ever asked.
What's really sad is this was his best Christmas.
Oh my God. Chris Etienne's Hardcore Christmas Stories, Volume 3. I was throwing my blind brother out the door while lying to my father's blind face. After my confession, I burned the whole house down with my confession candle. Dude, that is epic, epic, epic. No one got hurt.
No one got hurt. Now, the key thing is no one challenged me. You have to understand. And then for 5 years, I held this lie. My sister, bless her soul, I told her, she was the only one who knew. So she proceeded to extort me for the next 5 years to say, if you don't wash the dishes or if you don't pick the leaves, I'm going to tell mom and dad that you burned the house down. So I got extorted. So finally I was 12 years old and I was like, fuck you, Monique. I'm going to fucking tell the fucking truth. And at the dinner table, we sit down and she's giving me the stink eye from across the table. I'm just looking at her like, I'm the righteous bitch and here comes the fucking fire. And I'm like, I have a confession to make. And mom and my stepdad look at me like, okay, Tim, what's up? I burned the house down. Complete silence. Monique is now absolutely in shock. My mother starts crying. And she's like, "Oh, I have a confession to make." And my stepdad's consoling her. And he's like, "Okay, it's time for us to confess too." And I'm like, "What?" And my sister, of course, is like, "What the fuck?" And my mom proceeds to wipe her eyes and says, "Well, the fire department said that the fire started at the Christmas tree. And I didn't say anything about the closet. And because of that, we got the insurance money to rebuild the house in the ghetto so we could move out."
Wow.
So my lie turned out to be a full family lie that in the end turned out to just blow my brain in the end.
Oh,
So,
see, all lies have a silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. So out of that Christmas, that just as absolutely, it turned out to be the most bizarre blessing in disguise.
It actually created the liar that we know today, yes?
Touche, mon frere, touche. But no, it taught me to be a good soul. And after living with that lie for so many years.
Dude, forget about living with the lie. Living with the extortion.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Monique got punished. She ended up having to do shit for like a year. I got off still.
Your shit was like a lie in the moment. She sociopathically extorted you for 5 years.
And still laughs about it. Still laughs about it. He's like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you hate doing dishes?
I ended up in college when I was in the military. I ended up having a job washing dishes, so I guess I got an early job experience. I
gotta put something in here, man. Like how solid that is too. That you guys maintained that deal. At a young age, everything like that. That was solid fucking move right there, bro.
Well, I learned that I couldn't trust my own family, and two, that anybody will extort the living fuck out of you. So it was good early lessons to learn, I have to say.
Well, you maintain it and go to nowhere.
Did you have more than one sister?
Oh, I have 8 sisters. Most of them are
Jesus.
Monique was the closest.
Any brothers?
Yeah, 5. I'm the youngest of 13.
Holy shit, man. The youngest of 13.
So I understand getting only, I would get Christmas for me sucked because it was always hand-me-downs. So, you know, it's like going to school with wearing your brother's stuff that they wore years before.
Was that a lot of dresses?
Just so wonderfully. So I usually got, socks and underwear were usually what I got were new. And then I usually got some little toy.
I guess those hand-me-down clothes probably were only really a bummer for the few dudes that were actually in class with your brother's brother, you know, like, and failed all those years. They're the only ones that really recognize those old clothes. Come on.
Well, hand-me-downs can be just an asterisk if there's a bunch of older girls than you in the family. I mean, then what do you do?
Then you're wearing dresses, I guess.
It's just everything faded by the time you get it. It only gets faded.
You get a good jumpsuit.
Oh, I had overalls. I wore their overalls, that's for sure.
Keep smiling, Sam. Keep smiling.
Robux even. Remember those Robux? Robux made some killer tunes.
Listening to your story at 10 reminds me of my real favorite Christmas that happened while I was growing up. And we weren't allowed to have anything or do anything because my dad was a non-com in the Army and we lived on base. And so our rules were don't do anything that might disturb his career. And we always got close. So my brother and I got inventive and we wanted firecrackers, but you couldn't find firecrackers anywhere on base, needless to say. So my dad had brought home a big roll of carpet and it had a cardboard tube in it that was exactly the size of cans of DDT. And in those days, you know, the Army was passing out DDT all the time. We lived in Okinawa and everything was screened in, or you had, 10 cases of DDT right at your house. And so what we discovered was, because I was into science and chemistry from early on, was that if I drilled a hole in the bottom of the tube and I glued an old plate on the bottom at the same time, but I drilled the hole in the side of it so that I could mount a candle there. And when you drop the can of DDT in from the top, sort of like a mortar, it had a nail in the plate on the bottom, and it would pierce the bottom of the can, and the candle would light it and blow the can great distances, still being propelled. These DDT cans were like quart size. And so we're out back having a good time blowing these off, and my brother Bob comes out. I must have blown 20 of them off with no ill effects. They just all go way high in the air. My brother Bob comes out, who we never got along with each other, and we still don't for that matter, and he's an old fart. But anyway, he comes out and he says, "Hey, I want to try that. Let me try that, or I'm going to tell Dad you have it." So there wasn't much I could do. So I said, okay, and I gave it to him. He drops the can in and turns it sort of horizontal to fire it across the street at the playground. The exact second that it fires, a military police car, an MP car, went by, and it went right in the back window, full speed, rockets ahead of this military policeman's car. And he turned and looked and saw Bob with this tube, and then they just swarmed us, and they were doing this investigation. They found all these, but I was successfully able to offload all the blame for all of it onto Bob, because the military policeman saw him shoot that one into his car. And that was pretty much a good Christmas. I laughed my ass off for weeks after that.
I would have loved to have seen the face.
Nothing like siblings, right? Siblings for Christmas.
That's it. I had 3 sisters, and they were all blackmailing me all the time. Their favorite thing was, hey, if I tell Dad about whatever it was, when he comes home, you're going to be in big trouble unless you do the following. So I heard that a lot, and I did a lot of very distasteful things. My sisters were complete, as you call them, Mark, sociopaths.
Well, David Hess is saying, is that a rotovap in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Me and my sister, when we were young, we used to have to do chores. You know, the dishes, the lawn, the trash, the whatever. You know, chores kids have to do. I hated doing dishes. I mean, just I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I still don't do dishes, but whatever. But so what I used to do is I used to pay my sister to do my dishes for me.
What'd you trade her hash? What'd you do?
No, I paid her with American quarters.
American quarters. Those American quarters. They'll get the dishes done. I feel you. I feel you. Sometimes you don't want to do dishes like ever.
Well, you had to do other chores to maintain that quarter output. So what'd you do to maintain
I don't think I got paid for chores. I had to figure out ways to make money, which is what I was doing constantly.
Okay, so what was your early businesses then?
Oh, now we're getting into hustles. Okay, Sam, you tell us about your...
For example, the house next to me was vacant, but it had 3 big giant navel orange trees in the backyard. Well, guess where all those oranges ended up? In boxes in front of the local grocery store with me sitting next to it saying, oranges for sale.
Very nice.
How much did you get an orange?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember. I just remember it was the easiest money I ever made when I was a little kid.
Nice. The easiest money I ever made when I was a little kid was when I was very little, and my dad offered to just pay me like $5 if I moved all this lumber. And it probably wasn't that much. Like now, even in my adult mind, I look back and it was like, it was the whole truck full. It was probably 25 pieces of wood in reality. Not a huge truck full. But I got $5 out of it, and my sister was sitting there, and I was like, hey, I'd pay you $2 if you put all this wood in the truck. And that's what I did. I paid my sister $2 to put the wood in the truck, and I got $3, and we were both super happy.
And I laughed my head off when he told me that, dude. It was the best story.
Yeah, my dad told me that story. He's like, I came out and Jeanette was putting all the wood in, and I was like, what's going on here? And my dad just kind of like was shaking his head, walking away. He's like, the kid's already like, you know, hired out the job.
Mine was candy. They would actually, the Catholics, of course, they look to the little Girl Scouts. Were like, hey, if they can sell cookies, fuck this shit. We're putting these kids out. So they would give us these chocolate bars. They'd front you this box of chocolate bars, and then you had to go around the block or wherever and sell these chocolate bars. Problem was, I'd make some money, and then I'd eat more chocolate bars, and I'd have more money to do it. So, yeah, they shouldn't be having kids at 10 years old out selling door-to-door chocolates, but that's what they did.
Man, we weren't allowed to have chocolate or candy of any sort. First candy I saw, we came back from Okinawa. I was 16. My dad bought one Mars bar, a giant one. It was, if I recall, I think it was a nickel. He cut it up in the room upstairs and gave us all one piece of it. My mother was against it. She was like, no, it'll rot their teeth. And she didn't want us to have it, but Dad was insistent, since we had grown up without it in Okinawa, that we should at least get to try it once. So we all got it, and that was my first true buzz. I mean, I remember sitting on the edge of the bed and feeling my whole body start buzzing with energy. And then that was the first big trouble I got into, because we were so energized. I went outside and I rode the hotel banister in Seattle near the docks. There was an old hotel there, and I slid down the banister and knocked off the flower pot at the end and fell and hurt myself. And in addition to all that, my dad took me up to the room and gave me an ass whipping for sliding down the banister and breaking that off. So I never did get into candy after that. That was my dad put me off of a lot of things. You know, when I was 9, he thought I was drinking his booze, so he poured a shot glass full down my throat. Thus, I never drank. He used to always have a cigarette in his mouth when he was kicking my butt. So I never smoked cigarettes. And I just don't know. You know, the first time I smoked was in Vietnam, and I didn't know that I was smoking it. Otherwise, I might have stuck to my promise to my mom not to smoke it. But I'm glad I broke that, and I hope you're not rolling in your grave, Mom. But I'm still smoking it.
Hey, welcome, Brett. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Can you hear us?
Welcome, Mr. Maverick.
Can you hear us, Brett? Nope. Brett's not hearing us. That's okay.
Well, I'm doing a big turkey dinner. I got a turkey getting ready to go in the oven, and I hope everybody else is going to have a great day and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to let you guys all go. Merry Christmas. Have a fantastic evening. And yeah.
You haven't told us enough stories, John. You can't go yet.
Well, okay, I'm cooking my turkey. I'm starting it at 420 for 10 minutes, and I baste it with butter on the inside with garlic and thyme and rosemary, and made the homemade stuffing. I've been cooking since about 8 this morning, so it's kind of, we're doing a really nice little 9-pound turkey, and it's going to be awesome. And I just learned I have this probe for my oven, so I'm learning all about it. And it's like, you know, 1 o'clock's the time to get it down. I just got the stuffing in there. It's going to be a great little feast tonight. I'm sure you all see it on my Facebook and stuff like that, of course. And you guys all have a great Christmas. And happy one, hazy one. Love
hey,
you guys.
right on, Johnny B. Thanks
Peace,
for
guys.
Merry Christmas, Johnny B.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Peace, Johnny.
Merry Christmas.
Love you guys. Peace.
Dabs. Hey, welcome.
Dabs.
Dabs is in the house.
Brett.
Yeah, welcome, Brett.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. It's a Merry Christmas day. We're just telling stories and puffing bowls and having a few laughs, and no one's gonna out epic Etienne's Christmas story, but I'm sure that we can still tell some good ones.
Oh wow. Yeah, mine.
Yep.
We're German. We do it Christmas Eve. Mine's over.
Oh yeah.
So Brett, I'm going to ask you the question I've asked everyone. What's your most memorable Christmas and most memorable Christmas present?
I was 4 years old. I got one of them, Jeep, little toy Jeeps you can drive.
Nice.
Battery power. Yeah. Oh,
Baller.
Yeah, it said KC. My real name's Casey, so it said KC, and I thought that was cool, but it was a Jeep thing.
Nice. That's awesome. That's like Bob Marley, who bought the BMW because he liked the idea that BMW stood for Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Oh, what? That's what I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, his original car. I don't know if he bought it off Blackwell, but he definitely had it when he lived at the 56 Hope Road house in Kingston, and it's been written about by quite a few different people.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool to know.
Yeah, you can relate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
With the
I got one more story for you.
Well, we want to hear it.
I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. It's one of the longest things I can remember because it shocked me so much. So my father buys me a stuffed hound dog, and he hides it and says, "Look for it and you'll find it." So I'm looking and I'm like an hour later, I can't find it. And I start smelling something. I says, what's something smells like it's burning. And everybody looks up above at the light in the ceiling, which is where he had hidden my dog, which was impossible for me, a little 5-year-old, to find. Jesus. But it was right next to the lights. So when he pulled it out of there, it was smoking and it was scorched.
A puppy dog?
No, it was stuffed.
Oh my God, I was like tripping out. I was like, whoa, is this some crazy dark story that Sam's pulling out about his first?
No. This is a stuffed little hound dog.
Oh my gosh.
I can remember the dog's name, Morgan.
And it was smoking when he pulled it out from the light?
Yes, it was smoking.
That would be pretty
you were
memorable.
in tears then?
Oh, I was in fucking total tears.
Jesus. When giving gifts goes wrong, hey? damn, I just tried to make my kid smile. I gave him a stuffed animal. I didn't realize it was on fire. That's unbelievable.
He's the one who made it on fire by hiding it next to a fucking light.
Just pushing it right up against it, hey? You know, that honestly reminds me of being at the Cannabis Cup with Soma and him getting the phone call from his landlord saying he's going to the house. And Soma was, I mean, his landlord obviously knows what Soma's into, but he had all these like flowers cut down and like dry, cured, perfect flowers, like a lot, like 10,000 euros worth or some ridiculous thing. And it was our friend who was at the house, and he phoned her and said, listen, the landlord's coming. Can you just at least put the buds in some bags and then just put the bags out of the way, like in a closet or something. He didn't say in the closet. He said out of the way. She was sick with the flu and had a fever. So she stuffed all these buds into this bag and then stuffed the bag. In Amsterdam, there's these big radiators, and then there's a little bit of space between the wall and the radiator. And she stuffed these buds down between the radiator and the wall in like the fall when Amsterdam is cold, and she's sick, got the heat turned up. This radiator's just, it literally cooked this bud into dust. And
must have made the room smell really good.
Listen, Sam, when I walked through the door with Soma and about 4 or 5 other people, I can't remember who was there. I was right next to him, and he opened the door. And I could see it on his face. He immediately knew they were his buds. They were the ones he saved to smoke with all the people that were coming to the cup. It was an unbelievable, like that bud, when we pulled the bud out, it was just dust and stalks. And yeah, it smelled like the most incredible smell, like the terp haven that was Soma's on that day was next level. Next level. But that's harsh. You know, that's like almost as bad as like just any pure destruction of medicine like that. I hate to see it. Everyone's just silent.
Must have been like walking into a pipe, eh?
It was like walking into a sauna that smelled like they were using cannabis to heat it, but steaming it, not smoking it. You know, like those Finnish saunas.
Like living in a volcano balloon.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, it hit us in the face when we walked through the door. And if you've ever been to Soma's, he's got many, many stairs up to his house. So think of how much bud had to be vaporized for it to just push all the way down that staircase right to the door. I swear I almost smelt it before the door opened. It was crazy. Yeah.
That is such a horror story, man.
Well, it's, you know, his house didn't get burned down, but still, it's like, it was the horror story for the moment, you know? This is what happens sometimes. Sometimes the days are good and sometimes the days are rough, and just got to deal with it either way.
Yeah, all those radiators in Amsterdam are run by steam, so it wouldn't start a fire.
No, it just steamed the bud into dust and vaporized all the terpenes and probably most of the cannabinoids, I would think, because those things were cooking.
Most of the heaters are not steam. They are very, very hot water.
Isn't that what steam is? Or is it really, really hot water?
It's liquid water.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Brett.
Sorry.
No, I'm being thankful. It's like we want you to chip in, bro. We want you to chip in. We're having a relaxed Sunday afternoon with 538 of our friends watching live around the world right now. Probably a lot in America and some in the UK and some in Canada and maybe even a few somewhere else. Hey, why don't you tell us where you guys are in the chat room right now? We want to know. I know there's going to be a lot of US, a lot of Canada, but it'd be nice to find out the other places where people are watching the chat. Oh, Saudi. Yeah, right. He's laughing. Maui. There we go. The UK, Alaska, the Netherlands, Maine, Denver, New York, Washington. Brett. I like that Brett is a place. Brett. Colorado, Montana. Brett. Florida, Detroit, Denmark. Brett.
Norway.
Yeah, he lives right here.
Wales, Connecticut, Tennessee, Cali, Washington, Seattle, the Bronx, more Norway. Sweden, Cuba. Hey, there's Cuban Grower. I meant to send him the link, actually. I wanted him to come in and share a bowl.
Congo.
What's that?
Congo. Hey, Congo. Love your weed, by the way.
Hash Church. I'm going to send Cuban a link real quick, so if he feels like coming in, he can. If he wants to stay and chat, he can do that too. It's all up to him. Ooh, it just went. I just heard it go.
Ooh,
Sound
Austrian
effect.
Alps. It must be really cold there.
No problem, Cuban. You got the link in your email. If you do feel like coming in, we'll be here for the next 50 minutes chatting away.
Please come in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind as long as you can mute it if it's noisy. Congo has broadband? Damn, straight.
Somebody over in the chat was talking about sifting some super lemon. Get in touch
It's either super lemon haze or there's...
I like the lemon kush.
The kush.
If it's ever available. But anyway, get in touch with me because I like all lemon. So I'll be interested.
We have a special P.O. box set up for Indra if you want to send him trichomes.
Indra likes lemonine.
He likes lemonine, D-limonene. He's a fan of Valencia.
Anybody that would like to receive my comment on the material, feel free to send me some. And,
you know what? That was the beautiful thing about when I first started Bubble Bags in like 99. People were so, first of all, secretive about it. It was a very hush-hush thing. So I got to be their friend, like everyone's friend, they would be like, they had to talk about this. And some people, like a lot of people for many, many years, I had this conversation with a friend from Texas who said, yeah, you know, there's no good bubble in Texas. And I'm like, listen, there is some great bubble in Texas, but they're all like not sharing it. It's kind of secretive. They don't want to like put themselves on blast by getting you higher than you've ever been before. This was in 99 when a lot of people didn't have access to pure unadulterated microencapsulated resin heads separated from everything else. That was like some next level shit in 1999, really. Right to, you know, a month or two or three later, the BHO method really blew up as well. So concentrates, I think 99 was kind of the year of concentrates. It's not too many years later, the 99.999 dry sift of Skunkman Sam's hit the internet and let people know that that was possible. So pretty interesting how it's all played out. I'm with you, Indra. I'm also fully down with resin gland heads in all their beautiful forms, squished out of hot plates, extracted with water and ice, mechanically separated over screens, whatever. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't have any bad feelings about it in any way, but I'll tell you something that looks pretty interesting. I extracted a bag of 120U sift that I got off of a guy, and the oil from that 120U sift was just short of fucking amazing.
You know, I used to always say that to my oil friends. I'd just be like, listen, like you guys are, I know you're stoked on your huge yields, but I think you'd be also stoked if you made hash and then took all the different microns and made oil, and then you had different microns of oil. I think you'd be stoked on it rather than having them all conglomerated together. And I always thought that mainly because there were huge parts of the of certain oil extractions were these bulbous heads that dry sifting and wet washing was leaving behind, and it was creating a very, very different high. And I can also attest from taking different microns of hashes and squishing them into oil through the rosin presses. Yeah, they're sometimes often nothing short of spectacular, especially if you put in beautiful hash. Go ahead, Brett.
I've ran Cannabis Reverend's 45 Pure Kush and his 120. The 45 was dark, really stable resin, and the 120 was really oily. Both the same ice water run.
Yeah, because the gland head sizes are different for sure. And everyone that's ever run a batch can even see that in the 25 to 45s versus the 73, 90s, and 120s, and sometimes even the 160s. They can get, I'm talking mostly wet washing right now, but it also plays true to dry sifting if you separate them out to that level.
What would be really interesting is to analyze both the terpene and cannabinoid percentages and ratios and see what is the difference between the small
rather than
Of a
guessing
single
them.
variety.
I'll tell you one thing, 45 micron bubble hash, I can almost blindfolded every single time tell you that it's 45. If someone has 45 in a different country, they're talking to me on the phone and I'll be like, oh, does it like, when you're lighting it, like going to have a bowl of it, does it like catch a flame? It just seems to have this particular concentration of oils or something that makes it very flammable, very oily. It always, often in strains or cultivars grown in North America, I've seen 45 come out time and time again with a fairly large yield, sometimes the largest yield of everything.
Do you think the flammableness is because of how fine the screen is, how much of the terpenes actually get caught up in the hash? Like that, it's really foamy when you pull the 45. You notice?
Yeah, I definitely think it's got a higher content of a particular terpene, and not one that's necessarily one that everyone loves. Some people really love it. It's a really hashy terpene. It burns nice in joints. People that like smoking hash in that way have always had an appreciation for 45 and 25, whereas people that like to dab, they like the visual and photogenicness of golden or amber or whatever colored, you know, pull and snap, all the different textures that you can get. The 25 and the 45, although I've seen beautiful 45, don't get me wrong, it's just not what I would consider like generally what people would call their AAA grade hash, unless it's grown in Australia under the hot sun. And then I've seen, like from the Mullumbimby Madness, the most unbelievable 25 and 45 micron bubble hash.
Wow. I bet cherry pie has got some tiny trichomes. Just cut a cherry pie up here that this Northwest Roots has. And I wonder if his 45 is melted in his like 90.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to look at. I mean, I remember adding all these screens over the years and people being like, you're just trying to sell us screens. And I'm like, look, I know that that's definitely, it's working out that way. I'm not going to say that it isn't, but I'm not just trying to sell you screens. We can't know this stuff if we don't like, at one point I was like, people were like, do you think you should use more than 8 bags? I'm like, dude, use 100 if you have them. Like, you're just going to find out interesting things in the resin the more and more you separate it out, the same way we have with monomolecular medicines like CBD isolates and pure THCAs and whatnot.
I'm surprised with a 110 payload bag after a 120 how much yield still gets in the 110. You'd think it wouldn't be that much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even when I added the 90 bag for the first time, I mean, I figured it was going to be something because it was going from 73 to 120 for a long time. And to me, that wasn't so bad of a deal. But what I saw was in the early days, the 120 was incredible. And for whatever reason, the cultivars, the growing techniques, as years went by, I saw the 120 quality go down. And that's when we added the 90. And I mean, you know, the 90 is the 90. It's it's definitely one of the best.
That black bag.
The black bag, man. That's it. Black gold right there. It's the goodness representing right there. I think it's time for a, what's that, the 420K?
A bong rip? Mother lover?
Yes.
Lots of bong rip.
Is Dabs asleep?
He's crashed.
Dude,
crashed on belly.
that's pretty darn cute.
You
Is that a
working
homeless person
out?
in the background?
Is that a
You
What?
working out, Darren?
Yeah, a little bit.
You're getting pretty yoked up.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
I actually got some of these working out things from it's an old Viking style and Persian style of sword fighting and stuff with mace balls and these big fucking they're really neat. A different style of training altogether, and using my MMA gear. So
Hey, I
thanks
mean,
for noticing. Appreciate it.
You got to be pretty buff to have the word cock on the shoulder of your shirt. That's all I'm saying.
Where?
Chest, top
Oh, yeah.
right, cock.
Cocking. You should have seen my shirt the other day. I went through IKEA. I went 3 hours in there, and I got this shirt that has that says "Set your pussy free." With a set of legs straight up with a big flash and where the vagina would be. And it's an empowering women shirt, you know, let you set your pussy free, be powerful or whatever. But I bought it at this 420 in 2015 or 16 or 16. And I tell you, I get a lot of attention from that shirt. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. It was fun.
I can imagine. I like the fact that you said it's for empowering women.
It is. That's what the shirt is based about. Like that's
awesome.
You guys are more progressive up there. We're still trying to free the nipple.
We're still trying to free the nipple. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. It'll come along. It'll come along. Shredder
the girls that I
0911.
bought the shirt from were pretty amused. They couldn't wait to see me wearing it.
That's hilarious. Very, very good. Well, yeah. So I think you said bong rip, and I never took a bong rip. So
let's do it, mother lovers.
I got some snappy pulley West Coast concentrate. Do a little terp dip into maybe into the Sunset Sherbet.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's got this nice, very unique, somewhat cushy undertones, but a whole bunch of something.
420 on the East Coast.
Ooh.
Cream is it that creamy pheno? Like it's got the OG but like creaminess to it. Is that you getting that profile?
It's definitely creamy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it came from Cali, so it's pretty legit.
Yeah, probably Sherbinski's.
Tony's well connected.
Definitely. I did some Sherbinski's new crosses this year.
Here, let me mute my mic so you don't have to hear this annoying torch.
Awkward silence. Starring us.
Well, it's always when I mute my mic that everyone's just like, okay, let's not talk. He's muting his mic. It'll be funny. I appreciate it. You guys, bunch of characters. So I'm using a Herkimer diamond for my carb cap right now.
What the?
And it actually goes together with another Herkimer diamond. These two fit. There they go. They fit together.
What?
So, yeah, my friend. These came from Herkimer, New York. You guys ever seen these quartz crystals? Pretty. Woo! There we go. All right, there's a party going on. Are we having this bong rip?
Prolonged bong rip.
Prolonged bong rip. All right, well, I'm doing it. If anyone's joining me, join me.
Merry Deafness, I shall with you. Oh, it's awake again.
Oh, yeah. And this Klein rips. So tiny. Small pipes. They'll surprise you. Won't they? Oh, did that ever clean that banger nice? Hash Church 118. Christmas. You know, the nice thing about Christmas is I feel really like no stress whatsoever. Often I always want to make sure it's a great church and that there's a whole bunch of people. And this is just a nice relaxed church. I mean, I'm wearing a ridiculous Santa hat. How much more relaxed could it get? You've got a pretty sweet Nintendo controller hat toque though going on there.
Oh, thank you. What I was going to say about your banger is Chaz Pyle, Banjo's friend's been hot hitting like everyone's bangers lately, like completely like
red.
Yeah, and then they're black, so now that's called chazzing a banger.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Don't be chazzing my banger, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for keeping our finger on the pulse here at Hash Church. We appreciate it. That's hilarious. I have a lemon drop mega pot that I've been hitting out of, and I'm mildly. I fogged up a tiny little chunk of the top of it, and I'm like, I put it aside because I don't want to I don't want to be fogging that up. Just going to mute Darren real quick there. Booyah. Need more information on sifting fresh frozen sometime soon. I'm not sure I'm a big fresh frozen.
I think you need LN2 for that, if I'm not correct.
For what?
I think the guys doing the fresh frozen they're rosining fresh frozen sift. I think they're using LN2 to like separate the resin.
Baroni.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they were on Hash Church talking about that technique maybe
Matt and Chris
4 or 5 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe longer. I can't even remember. Shit goes by so fast now. I think it's been a couple of months.
Just on the recent latest episode of Bong Appetit, they go to the Chris's lab at the Clear, and they show the liquid nitrogen separation followed by rosin formation.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Someone sent me a clip of that. They said, hey, look, they have a bubble bag in the bucket. Yeah. I'm like, well, you got to have a bag.
And that shows you how strong your material is if it can handle those temperatures.
Well, we don't buy the shitty stuff. Come on now.
That's true. Definitely.
We've got a name to stand behind.
For real.
Well, 559 people. It's been growing. Let's see if we can get ourselves up to 600 on a Hash Church afternoon. Christmas. I mean, my goodness. What do you guys got planned for tonight? You guys got some dinners? You're going to be hanging out with families? You're going to be puffing dabs?
Smoking doobies.
Smoking doobies. Well, I haven't smoked a doobie in about 14 or 15 years. Although I guess those pure hash joints could be considered doobies. Those are doobies, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we should ask everybody what they're actually smoking on right now. That's always fun to see what everybody is actually. So go ahead there out there in Marijuana Land. Tell us what you're smoking on this Christmas.
What
and
are you puffing on?
With relatives or not. There you go. You got a twofer.
With
what
what?
you're smoking, and are you smoking with relatives?
Yeah, so it's a yes or no to the relatives question. And then, oh yeah, so we got 90 micron bubble, sour D. We got Khalifa Kush, some cookies, some Trabayo, some gold leaf peppermint cookies, 6-star. Fuck, people are killing it. I love that. Skywalker OG. Extremely creamy dry sift.
I haven't got to try the 6-star gold leaf cookies hash yet. I'm hoping Serang will make a drop or over it in this county.
So you're just in Washington, right?
Yeah, but I'm across the bay from Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Across the bay.
Little ferry ride. Like you're going to Vancouver Island only.
Yep.
Yeah.
But closer. How long's the ferry?
It's about 55 minutes.
Okay, so closer to going to the Sunshine Coast.
Oh, I bet that's far. Victoria to Seattle is pretty darn long.
We have 3 ferries right by my house, about 5 minutes away, and one goes to Nanaimo and takes about an hour and a half. That's the island, Vancouver Island. One goes to the Sunshine Coast and takes about 40 minutes. And then one goes to Bowen Island and takes about 20 minutes. What do you got there, John? What's Indra showing us?
Can't really figure out how to show it, but this...
Oh, it's an opal.
Yeah, this is a world-class one.
You can see the shimmers.
Can't really get it. Flashlights, too. No, it's from Ethiopia, but turns out now that Ethiopian opals are starting to overtake the Australians in quality and so forth. I have a large collection of both.
Nice Bucci Rotovat behind your head.
Yeah, shout out to Bishop.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Bishop.
From Heidolf.
It's there because of him.
Oh, Heidolf.
Yeah, it's a Heidolf.
He brought it to me, and then I use it just as I thrash it constantly, daily.
Awesome.
It's a great machine.
Here, I'll hold up my kunzite from Afghanistan.
Whoa.
Notice how it changes color when you change it sideways. It goes from clear
to purple.
And well, yeah, it goes kind of pink eventually. Like if the light goes in it proper, it's not really kind of showing right now, but The light has to go into it a certain way, and then yeah, this is kunzite from Afghanistan.
It looks like purple rain when you aim it.
Double terminated too. These are terminations, and these are terminations.
Oh,
that's sweet. That's rare. Double terminated. It's rare.
Yeah, yeah. All of these crystals I had a gallery for a long time, and people were like, this guy was like, you have to spend like a certain amount of money on advertising to let people know who you are. And I was like, really? Because I think I'll just buy crystals instead. So I bought this collection from the guy who owned the mines in Herkimer, New York. This was my friend Richard's collection that he acquired. So these are all like water clear Herkimer diamonds and stuff. I have this incredible crystal collection. I don't even know what to do with it, but I love them. I have them all over my house, big crazy ones, small ones, little botryoidal tourmalines from Burma where lava has gone over the tourmaline and melted the top up like a muffin. Like super trippy, crazy shit. I wish I had somewhere to put it. Yeah, I've got meteorites and I've got meteoritic glass, you know, that melts the sand when it hits. And I got some of that. And I love this stuff. I love stones. I mean,
You got watermelon tourmaline?
Oh, I have watermelon tourmaline. I have all sorts of tourmaline. I have tourmaline like 2 and 3 kilo chunks this big of like double terminated staffs of tourmaline.
Do you have seedless watermelon tourmaline?
I don't have those GMO ones yet, but I'm probably going to stay away from those. How about this polished quartz crystal with titanium?
Oh, wow. Is it encased or did
No,
they
this is quartz that it's grow the titanium is naturally occurring inside of. I wish the camera would show it better because it's a super crazy piece.
I know does that ever happen with gold? Because I know they find quartz around gold mines a lot. I wonder if there's gold and quartz.
Gold and quartz are endemic. They come together. You find them that way. In fact, the miners would look for quartz first, and then they'd know they were close to gold.
Oh, yeah. It's indicator.
Can anybody say what this is?
Knowing you, it'll be some giant seed. But no, that's like a meteor, isn't it?
No, it's a stone I got from Sidi Hidi's grave in Morocco.
Oh, wow. Of course it is. Sidi Hidi. So do we have a write-up on Sidi Hidi?
Well, I gave you, we had a write-up at the Legends about 5 years ago.
And do you have it anywhere near you?
No, I don't think I do. Yeah, I know where one is. I'll find it.
All right, go find it because you mentioned Sidi Hidi, and we should read to the to our afternoon mass here at Hash Church. Do we call it mass or do we call it dabs?
Are you going to change that into a ring, Sam?
That rock?
Yeah. I say we do mass dabs. There you go.
I like that, mass dabs. Then all of a sudden mass is appropriate. So mass dabs. Sam will find that every year that we've done Legends, they've always had some nice little additions. We hired a nice artist, and obviously people always thought the wrong thing, like that we were thinking we were legends, which we're not. It's like, no, these are like the legends of hashish. So like places, the Garden of Carfu, the Sidi Hidi, a whole bunch of different ones that we celebrated over the years, all from, centuries ago, some of them, and maybe some a century ago. Kind of cool concept that I liked about the Legends of Hashish, that it was, it was showing respect to past. That's what that's what a legend is.
You have to be careful though collecting stones like that in the Far East, because especially around grave sites and stuff like that, because right after you leave that evening before they close up and go to sleep, he tells the guy, "Bring out some more of those gravestones."
Yeah, just put a fresh smattering of gravestones across the top.
For the tourists.
We import these stones from China. They're way cheaper than any of the stones we can get here in Afghanistan, or sorry, Morocco.
Just happen to have a couple dozen Sidi Hidi genuine stones if anybody wants to buy them. They're $19.99.
All right, we'll have that link up on Hash Church later on. Later on, not. How's the Chilcotin? God-forsaken, the Chilcotin. I love the Chilcotin Range. Great place to ride your dirt bike, let me tell you. What are you smiling at, D? You all happy mother loving over there?
Well, I'm just checking out the YouTube chat.
And what are they saying?
Oh, fucking! I was having a nap with my puppy at one moment, during Hash Church, and I'm fucking totally called out on it. Greened out, falling out of my chair, fucking dabbed right up, fucking yeah. I had a little nap for a minute, for sure I did. I did a couple times.
Hey, I'll tell you, my Christmas morning dab today was a destroyer. It was a 2 thumbs up for 2 tears down. I was crying, I was coughing, I was choking for about 5 minutes. One of those rips that you know about 3 minutes in that it's only going to get more intense.
You almost think, shit, was that too much?
All right, Sam. That's
So
Hash Church 12.
Here it goes. Legends of Hashish.
Legends of Hashish.
Sidi Hidi is revered in Morocco as the patron saint of keef and keef smokers. Some believe he brought cannabis to Morocco, and he is often attributed with the sage advice, keef is like fire. A little warms the heart, too much can burn the soul. However, various legends place Sidi Hidi in several historical periods. One said he was an early 20th century Algerian nobleman who spread cannabis around Morocco. But another claims he was an early Sufi mystic who wandered the Rift Mountains, lived in caves, taught the Quran, and smoked a blend of local mint and sage. Beat historian and wizened traveler Paul Bowles reckoned Sidi Hidi was a 19th century keef smoker whose devotees espoused obscure cosmic philosophies, troubled the local women, and ran an extortion racket taking payoffs in chickens. In 1997, several dedicated Charsi researchers traveled to Morocco armed with a map and verbal instructions from the ever-helpful Paul Bowles. They found the well of Sidi Hidi, but no remains of a tomb or grave. The Sidi Hidi stone on display tonight was found close to the well. Sidi Hidi, the patron saint of keef smokers, Palandrine Minthead, or both?
Hidi. I remember you brought that stone to the Legends of Hash dinner.
Well, let's burn one to Sidi Hidi.
Absolutely. You know, I'm telling you, that's the real deal right there.
If he was smoking sage, he could have been smoking that psychoactive sage, the Salvadorium.
Well, I guarantee you that everybody who we talked to this about told us that it is psychoactive. And if you look at the old Simsi pipes, pre-70s, 60s, and stuff like that, they all have this sage with purple flowers on it. Rob and I got a sample of it when we were in Morocco down there. It was growing near Sidi Hidi's grave. They showed it to us, and I have a sample dried somewhere, but I don't remember.
Interesting. Mitch Tetro, the info is in the stone. Yes, Mitch, as well as the bone. I recognize your Barbara Marciniak quote. Don't think it went by me. I caught that shit. Anyone? Bueller?
Well, you know, Mark, I don't look at you as a panel moderator. I look at you. This is Hash Church, and you are the priest.
Oh, the priest. But what does that really mean?
Say again?
I said, but what does that really mean? I mean, I'm just here to load bowls.
Whenever God does anything bad, we all get to blame you.
Hey, we never said anything about God.
He's the Pope.
Yeah, these guys are the elders. I'm just, I feel like I'm like the altar boy.
You're the preacher.
Yeah, but how can we find God to complain? What we have to do is grab you. You're easy.
Well, hey, you know I'm always here for a good grab. No problem. You need to grab me and shake me up a little.
God never listens to what you say.
I'm gonna grab your
never listens.
I'm gonna grab your terpene.
Yeah, you are gonna grab my terpene. All
Set
right,
your
all right.
set your mothership down before anyone shakes you, though.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'll be grabbing this thing like nobody's business, clenching. I'm gonna pause my mic, so make sure you all say nothing for the next 2 minutes while I heat my bowl and take my rip.
Okay.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to announce my new distribution company, which I'm cranking up, and the name of it I thought about for a little while, and I like it. Well, let's see. I'll say it here, and you guys can give me feedback on it. We're gonna call it Abracadabra.
Nice.
The old magic saying, abracadabra, but we're gonna
Yeah.
accentuate the dab part in the middle of it.
Yeah, bro.
Crickets, huh? Nobody liked it.
No, I think
Sounds good to me.
I'm just wondering if there is an abracadabra, because I think recently someone sent me something, and I was like, "Who sent me this?" Oh, it was these guys. It was these guys.
Yeah, that's different. That's spelled different.
So this is a little different, but and what these guys do, quite simply, are these beautiful jewelry style carb caps for the D-nail carb cap top. So they sent me a couple. That's where I saw that name, Abracadab. So it's quite different, and you're doing a totally different business. So, and these guys are really cool. So I almost guarantee there's not going to be any problems. But I knew I'd seen that name.
I did a name search in California, and it came up neutral. So I put my claim on it.
I like it.
I do. I spell like abaca and then DAB, really huge letters, and then ra afterwards. So it's abracadabra.
Maybe put some globs of oil on those letters too, or something, or some,
Well, I'm working on a render of it to make it really look cool. You'll see. I have my computer is all set up to do that kind of thing. I have all the various high-end 3D programs, and my computer is an 80-core machine, and so when I give it jobs like that, it just eats them right up. 2699 version 4's in it, and I love my computer intensely. I have a big relationship going with my computer. I'm a computer geek.
Tony told me about your computers. He was like, dude, he's just got these crazy fucking computers. Awesome. Very cool. Yes, sir.
Number 12.
So it's rendering even as we speak.
Ah,
it's rendering
that's right.
Logo for Abracadabra. But
Number 12.
You can't see it, so.
Well, we'll get to see it when it's done. We know. Can you read the rhyming hash book? I don't know where my rhyming hash book is, but I would go real quick and look for it. And if I can find it, I will absolutely read Dana Larson's
if you want.
Green Eggs and Hash and Hags. I'm going to go see if I can find it so I can read it. And if not, you're welcome to read it, Darren. You guys want to talk while I'm gone?
No, we'll be quiet.
Just talk amongst yourselves. That's what they do on Saturday Night Live, right?
No, let's just have silent meditation for the next half hour.
That was a popular idea. You hear all the comments?
I'm going to catch some more flies.
Here's actually my best Christmas present. It's a Buddha with a cell phone and a cup of cappuccino.
From Starbucks?
That's sick. I like it. Where do you get them?
My sister gave it to me for Christmas about 5 years ago.
Which one?
What, this?
Oh. He's on the cell phone.
And a cup of cappuccino.
And a cappuccino, abracadabra, was the name to open the magic doors of Tresor Gold.
He's a modern Buddhist.
Right. That's cool. We're down. What's going on, Mark? I like that Mark's in like a different room. Like he's got his wine out. He's preparing some food on his psychedelic cutting board tray.
Yeah, we're doing twice baked potatoes along with our standing rib roast. Standing rib roast is in the oven.
Twice baked potatoes.
Yeah, it's a special evening, so I mean, baked potatoes don't cut it. It's got to be twice baked.
Yeah, well, it's just like you. You're not going to just get baked once. You got to be twice baked.
That's quite the wine glass too, buddy. That's a pimp rocking wine glass.
Oh.
Nice cup.
Thank you. I think that's the reason why you get china when you get married, because you'll never get nice china again.
Yeah, back up enough so we can see that bump. Are you pregnant?
That's healthy.
Here, you guys want to see the roast?
Oh, show us the roast.
Yes.
Vegetarian roast?
It was a vegetarian roast, yeah. Before it was a roast, it was some sort of an animal.
I think the cow is a vegetarian.
Oh, Mark.
He says it's a cow, but it's like it's a bull mastiff or something. Some crazy import dog meat.
Yeah, it could have been a dog. Who knows?
B-Man loves roast beef. Yeah, I'm a huge roast beef fan.
Well,
Fat rump.
Who was talking about the 200-pound Mastiff a little while ago? I was wondering, you don't want to leave a 200-pound Mastiff in Indonesia because
they had to get it out, dude.
End up on little sticks with butter sauce on him.
Wow. That dog ended up costing them quite a lot of money through dentistry years later, I'll tell you that much. Even though it was a super chill dog, just in one instance, it accidentally harmed a person and knocked out like half her teeth. It happens.
Well, Mastiffs aren't made as petters. They're made to guard the castle grounds.
Yeah.
And they're not, I mean.
Like chows.
And they're clumsy and they're big. And
yeah.
And I mean, just the Mastiff playing with you can knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you get up to 200-pounders.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, this one was at the top of an outdoor rock staircase, and my friend who owned it had to go get their little granddaughter, so she just gave the leash to the landlady, who was this little Filipino woman, who was like held the dog leash, and then she ran down the stairs to go get the little girl because they lived on the ocean and they didn't want her kind of falling off the last. The yard went down 3 tiers, and she was already on the last tier, kind of walking towards the edge. So my buddy ran down, past the leash. Right as he ran by, I guess a cat ran out of the neighbor's yard and just ran across the lawn into the other neighbor's yard. But that was just enough to excite the dog. And he ran down the stairs. And I guess she just like flew in the air. I wasn't there for it, but my friend said she went from the top stair to the bottom stair. And the only thing that really slowed her fall was the giant boulder at the bottom that she hit with her mouth. Like it was some nightmarish.
Did your friend charge her for a flying lesson?
My friend spent almost $9,000 on a dental bill for her.
In Bali, when I was there in '75, they forbid any dog that was bigger than a certain size, like a really large shepherd. And they wouldn't allow them on the island. They wouldn't allow them imported. If they found them, they'd shoot them.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, my friend couldn't get his out of Indonesia for a while, and it was like they were kind of like, holy shit, this is serious. Like, this dog just got so big. They had no idea it was going to get as big as it did. Plus, it's a real furry dog, so it looks twice as big as it actually is.
Several friends of mine brought Afghan Mastiffs to Bali, and these dogs were they didn't cause that much trouble, but they sure did scare people.
Yeah, no doubt. They're big dogs, man. I mean, holy smokes. I love dogs myself. I always get a little nervous when the dog's super big or powerful or has the ability to just take the life of a small thing. And then if my child is around, I get more nervous.
With these dogs, it's genetic. What they want to do is guard their turf.
Well, that's cool. I'm down with it. Just maybe not at my house next to my 2-year-old. I like Darren's dog. Dabs can come over.
His dog's name is Dabs.
Yeah, Dabs McGee.
My neighbor's dog's name's Indica.
Nice. Indica and Dabs should get together sometime.
Yeah.
This is Dabs.
Oh,
Dabs
damn.
is a doggy that can go anywhere.
Oh shit! DTFO, Dabs. DTFO.
Look at his eyes.
That's not a dog. That's an owl.
That's an owl. That dog is DTFO'd.
Yeah.
Again, my neighbor's dog, I don't know what the hell it is, but its name is Tumor.
Oh no.
Jeez, damn. That sounds like that's not a good name.
I've known a couple of 3-legged dogs named Tripod.
Sure, that's a good name though, right? That's like the big giant Great Dane. What's his name? Hercules, King, Zeus. There's like a short list for certain dogs.
There's a 2-legged dog on YouTube that gets up and runs and dances, and his name is Dancer.
Oh my gosh.
When my dog was really tiny, well, the dog I used to have in California, it had inner ear problems, and it kept tripping and falling over because of this. Didn't have a good sense of balance. So we named her Tipsy. When she was an adult, she didn't have the problem anymore. Her favorite thing to do was to sit on my foot.
Well, I remember it was my dog growing up that taught me how to say 2 words or a word in a name simultaneously at the exact same time. Not one after the other, but saying 2 words simultaneously. And no, my dog's name was Tina. And so I'm sitting there going, Tina, 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 Tina. And I realized I was saying naughty and Tina at the same time. This was one of my young pre-psychedelic mind-blown experiences when I could say 2 words at once. Because try that shit with any other word. That is not an easy feat. You go find some word you can say that's saying 2 words at the same time. I'm sure you'll come up with one. That shit tripped me out as a little kid.
Anti-decompositing unit.
John just comes out and says one that's 15 words at once. Yeah, good old Tina, my little dog. What do you call a dog with no back legs and a pair of metal balls? Sparky.
Sparky, yep.
Jesus. My goodness, chilling like a villain. That's some pretty crazy humor for a Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas right now. What the hell are we doing? We're all just like, let's all get together on Christmas. We'll do a hash church.
Why would the dog have steel balls though? That question comes up.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking it's a Mad Max sort of thing. There's been a nuclear war. There's some sort of zombie thing going on. Maybe he needed steel balls, to protect his race.
He's a badass.
To protect his, it's to protect
rollers
his race.
instead of balls.
He's a badass. He's got balls of steel.
Balls of steel. Plus, you got to protect the boys, right?
Yeah, true. Could have been a cup.
Protection. For protection, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime that dog moves, it needs protection, though. So that's why I feel as though it would have been.
I think the dog would learn fast that the faster it moved, the safer it was.
I don't know if that's the lesson that dog would get from that, but okay.
Well, I can't say it's the lesson that dog would get, but it is the lesson that I'm getting from picturing it in my mind and just trying to move on to a different conversation, but continuing to talk about steel ball dog.
It makes
I think it would teach him how to walk with stilts.
Oh, Darren's cooking up the mini. Look at Dabs, how excited he is. He's like, oh shit, we're doing dabs. We're doing dabs. This is wicked. Woo! I love dabs, Darren. Come on, give me a dab. Give me a dab. Can I have a dab? You want a dab? You take the dab. I'll take the next dab. That dog's super cute, dude. I mean, that's ridiculous. Did you see how excited that dog got when Darren lit up the bowl? He still kind of like wants to know about it. Don't you be burning Dabs' nose.
No worries.
No hot dabs for Dabs.
No hot dabs for Dabs.
He starts walking down your arm towards the courts.
Don't let him chaz your banger.
Yeah, don't let him chaz your banger, bro. You don't want that. You know, one time, Brett, the ultimate chaz was when I brought this. Okay, back in the 90s when we post on Overgrow, it might have even been like 2000, but it might have been 99. Marble Slingers started making these pipes. It was really shout out to Jason Lee, who learned the double bubbler seal, which was a seal inside of a seal. And he figured it out, and he showed like a bunch of people, which was really cool of him, like because he showed Jeff, 100% Jeff learned. He showed Slinger. He showed like D-Rex, and I guess probably Pedro and all those guys that were in that shop. Marcel, I'm sure.
Matt.
Anyway, it was cool. Those pieces just kept getting crazier and crazier. It was a double bubbler. It was a triple bubbler. Jason Lee took it up to a quintupler, but it was only Slinger that made the sextupler. And the sextupler I brought to Amsterdam in maybe 2001 or 2001 comes to mind. I remember Drum was there. He was the local glassblower in Amsterdam. I think he was even living still, maybe in a squat. Does that sound right, Sam? When did the squats all shut down in Amsterdam? What year was that? Yeah, but these were major ones with like full dragons painted on the front of the building and stuff. They all went away in a particular year. I can't remember exactly, but Drum was living there. Anyway, that sextupler, I brought it to Amsterdam. I sold it to a friend. It got broken like in half, like 2 3s away from the other 3s. So I was like, Drum, can you fix this and put the cans together? This is the ultimate Chaz My Banger story, by the way. And I even have a picture because Drum put the whole thing. First, he didn't like, he was like, fuck cleaning it. I'm just going to blow it and fix it. So it was super dirty and he blew the whole thing while it was dirty. And then he annealed it in his oven. So it came out, instead of looking like clear pink fume, it came out looking like this crazy black golden fume. The whole pipe was chazzed. It was fucking
completely baked on carbon.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. Almost to the point of artistic. Like I was kind of like, I had sold it already. So I was kind of like, dude, what? Like you didn't just run some hot water and some ice through it? Like it just would have poured right out. But yeah, he chaz that banger good. Let me see if I can find it. Because my goodness, wouldn't that be a good one if I could find? It's one of the early 2003 or something Cannabis Cups. I'm pretty sure I was there. You know, oh yeah, there's Gypsy Nirvana hitting it. There's Soma hitting it. There's Shiloh Massive hitting it. There's some trippy chick hitting it. And then I'm sure at one point here it gets broken. And then I'll have a picture of Drum holding it in this series of shots. I'm pretty sure. And it is chazzed. Let's see. I'm really excited to see if I can find this. I'm not feeling it now though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's show the pre-chaz shot first, shall we?
Yeah.
I'll show you what the bubbler looked like. We'll do a little honor of Gypsy Nirvana. He's the first one that I saw holding it in this series of shots. There we go. So Gypsy's got the piece. I'll do the screen share so you guys can see this thing. So here we go. Gypsy Nirvana hitting the sextupler in Amsterdam in 2003. Good memory. So you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th can is the big one that he's holding. Can you guys make that out? That's a Marble Slinger sextupler.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now look at it after after Drum fixed it, which is incredible. It's right at the end too here. Here he is, right near Sam. These other bottom pictures, Well, there's Lexi, Soma's granddaughter, but there's also the pictures of the 17-year-old dry sift. So there's Drum holding the fully chazzed.
Oh no.
Dude, have you ever seen anything? Look at that thing.
That's yeah, man. And that's like, is that like burnt, like combusted material?
Burnt. He heated up that pipe like red hot and fixed it.
Oh no.
Blew the whole thing over the torch, then put it in the oven.
I mean, if they're gonna go through all the trouble of like, you know, like fixing it and then going and re-putting it in the kiln, just cleaning it is such a small little bit of that.
Oh my Chaz. That's what they're saying. Max Chazzed. That's a bubker. He looks like a, they're just like, oh, fucking Chazzed, Max Chazzed, mate. Oh, fuck, that's funny. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. I'm chazzing my balls off, guys. Don't chazz your beaver.
Do you think you could clean that with solvent?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think it can be cleaned. I think Brett Bogue bought that piece. He'd have to, he'd know. That thing is, that thing is.
He lives right.
Does he live right by you?
Yeah, he lives 2 towns down.
So the next time you see him, ask him if he bought the sextupler from Amsterdam in 2003 off of Bubbleman.
I will do that.
He renamed it Burnt Magic.
Burnt fucking magic. Oh, geez.
If it will come off, a solution of sodium hydroxide. If sodium hydroxide won't take the color off, nothing will.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't think it will. I don't think it's happening.
Sodium hydroxide and ethanol. You want ethanol in there. That's called base bath. Actually, potassium hydroxide works better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
here, check this out. I'll show you a sick piece I sold Brett maybe the same year or no. No, the next year he bought this piece off of me at a show that I threw with Marble Slinger called Degenerate Art. And this was Jason Lee, and Steve Hops was an unknown glassblower at the time. He also helped make this piece.
Oh, before he started making his inlines?
Yeah, this was pre-inlines. This was him being, I think he was Lebo's shopmate. But check that piece out. I mean, come on.
It's a motorcycle. Is it
a motorcycle? Yeah, it's a motorcycle, dude.
Dude, that's badass.
That's what I'm saying. So this was a glass show we threw called Degenerate Art. So Chris McElroy had a piece in there. You know, Amber Pellegrini had the breakdancing Chillum girl. Brian Ratcliffe had the apple pipes and the Coca-Cola can served up on a bed of grass with a chain link fence, just like it looked outside of your high school when you crumpled it up and stopped using it. So that shit was probably the headiest of the heady at the glass show in my opinion.
I remember the Coca-Cola can when I visited you, and that just blew me away.
It was so well done, dude. And the bowl of apples, because he blew the bowl, he blew the apples. They were all working pipes. And then how he served up that apple was just, that was just really classy. There's a lot of pieces. Go ahead.
My little sister used to always ask my mom why her boyfriend's apples always had holes in them.
That's hilarious.
Why does Ruben's apples always have holes in them?
Here, check this shit out. This is the Scott Worms. Yeah, exactly. This is the Scott Deppie piece from that year. He was in the Degenerate Art show as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. So crazy carved glass, like crazy Scott Deppie. I actually had purchased this piece. I had traded him, and then, you know, it didn't work out, and I ended up sending it back to him. But it's one of my great regrets not owning this piece right now, because it is... Well, it's probably worth 50 grand or some ridiculous shit like that. But also, it was just early Deppie work. That
it's got that Davin Titlin like purplish pink color too.
Yeah, and doesn't it look great in the Pacific Northwest, just with the being displayed?
Oh yeah, with the tree in the background and whatnot.
Yeah, dude, just awesome.
we live in the most beautiful place in the world. I don't know. Maybe we're biased, but
well, I'll tell you this much: there's tons of the most. Listen, once you get like some of the nicest hash in the world, and then you meet other people who have the nicest hash in the world, and then other people who also have the nicest hash in the world, you realize, oh, there's like lots of nicest hashes in the world. It's the same thing with places. There is beauty to be found all over this globe. Is the West Coast of North America beautiful? Fuck, obviously. I mean, I think even Jacques Cousteau, it was one of his top 3 to be in this area of the ocean. And that guy was like, he went in every ocean in the world to all the depths. And so there's no doubt the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. But man, I love being in Europe. I love being in Central and America, South America, Asia, you know, the Caribbean. They're also beautiful. The world is a beautiful place if you get out there and give it a chance.
The trouble with the oceans on the West Coast is the water's really too cold.
It's cold. But, you know, he's always got a submarine. He's not rolling in a bathing suit.
Oh, what a wimp. No, I'm kidding.
What a wimp. That Jacques Cousteau.
The ocean off Portugal is pretty sweet.
Here's one. How about this? This is how they get the bikes out of the canals in Amsterdam. And check out how many he got in this little area.
Wait, do people take the free ones and just throw them in there to be assholes or something?
Well, there are no free. They're junkies. Used to sell them.
The junkies steal them, and they don't want to get caught with them because it's a big pain in the ass if you get caught. So when they're done with it, they throw it in the canal.
Yeah,
it's not a big pain in the ass. All they do is slap their hand, and they're out selling bikes the next day.
It's definitely something I learned very early on in the mid-90s to not support, because they're even so good at being like, this is what they do more than throwing them in the canal. They'll steal a bike, and then they'll look for a tourist who's kind of lost or late or behind, someone that looks anxious, and they'll roll up and try to sell you a bike for 25 guilders, 10 guilders, 5 guilders. I mean, depending on how hurting they are. And this was, of course, many years ago when they still had guilders in Amsterdam. But definitely not a good business to support in any way, shape, or form, that particular one.
That's part of the problem. Yeah. The other part of the problem is that Dutch people, they will buy them. Or a lot of Dutch people will buy them. And also, if they're drunk and they walk out of a place and they don't have a way to get home, and they see a bike that's not locked, they liberate it for the revolution.
For the revolution.
You stand down by Pike Place Market. In Seattle. There's all kinds of people just selling stuff they stole, and people are happy to buy it. All kinds of just anything, DVDs, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the cops should sell stolen bikes all day long and bust every single person that buys them.
Yeah, they got to get us dangerous potheads.
Oh yeah, they know all about the dangerous potheads. We're not having it. We're not dangerous anymore. Man, I don't even get looked at anymore. I swear to God, this thing is getting more and more normalized every single day. And obviously, I live in an epicenter of, you know, canna-friendly vibrations in a country with a federal, you know, licensing that you can apply for and get to grow your own cannabis. And soon enough, you'll be able to grow your 4 plants without any license at all. And to have that on a federal level is pretty cool, because then you can take your herb and go visit your family on the other side of the country, go on a plane. It'll slowly allow herb to be everywhere, and that will almost overnight take away their ability to use herb or the smell of herb or the sight of herb as a reason to search or for any interaction whatsoever. So I'm looking very forward to the day when cannabis isn't used as a indicator to, you know, get police to start searching us and to start harassing us. It's happening.
Well, that'll happen the day that they allow policemen to smoke pot as well. When they can smoke pot, it'll no longer be an issue for the rest of us.
Absolutely.
That's not necessarily true, because it used to be okay for cops to smoke pot off duty here in Holland. Now it is not. So there's no such thing as once something happens, something else is going to be better. No, things can retrench. Holland
They
is a
can.
good example.
For sure.
They don't smelling marijuana in your car isn't a reason to search it in Washington or at least Seattle.
That's huge.
But you guys have prescriptions. We get recommendations because they can't prescribe Schedule I drugs to us unless it's like a research project.
Yeah, I have a Health Canada document from my government on my wall saying that it's a personal production license, how many plants I can grow, how much I'm allowed to have at my house, and how much I can use daily. So it's
it's a lot more protection than our recommendation. Just the defense in court.
to the maximum potential of my license, which is, it shows for me that I'm just growing it for me.
Well, my doctor took a very smart route. He's a very nice and very knowledgeable guy. He's been writing prescriptions. He's got a narcotics license. He could prescribe whatever he wants to you. But he prescribed for me. I told him I was growing it to eat it and juice it. And so they want some indication on the script about how much you're supposed to have every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote on mine, as needed. And so he's a great guy.
Yeah, that's great.
PRN. That's the doctor's way of writing it, as needed.
Yep. So therefore I can have kilos of the stuff all the time and not be bothered by him.
Yeah, that's what mine is kilos. Mine's like almost 5 kilos. And it works for either concentrates or for terpenes or for flowers, whatever. It doesn't matter.
99% heads or trim.
Yeah, or trim, exactly. It's basically thanks to Owen Smith and Kirk Tusaw, and I'm sure John Conroy was somehow involved, but they did an amazing job. And Ted Smith, that, you know, by having the bakery that got busted in Victoria for his shop, and, you know, they fought our Health Canada, our government went to court and basically fought that being allowed federally to use cannabis and be legally allowed to use cannabis as a medicine. But the minute you say put it in hot water, which is how Kirk explained the simplicity of an extraction and how now the law changes and now that person could be facing a mandatory minimum of 2 years in prison. It basically had the law change, the wording changed to dried marijuana, I believe changed just to marijuana, which is all the parts of the plant. So now it's, you know, dried marijuana meant specifically you're allowed to have buds and that's it. Now we're pretty much allowed to have any type of concentrate that we want or need to make on our own. And within reason, the licensed producers can sell flour and some sort of not so great extract so far. They still have their hands tied quite tightly here in Canada.
Kirk from the old Pot TV website.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Oh, right on. I didn't know he had a part in that.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. He's been killing it up here. He's been he knows his shit and he's super articulate and really he creates beautifully well-known arguments, and he has intimate knowledge, deep intimate knowledge of cannabis. Like he knows his shit when it comes to cannabis. So he's just sort of put that right into his knowledge of the law and done some amazing things here in Canada. Definitely for the Owen Smith one, where we got to have extractions. That was huge for me and many, many others. But also for the injunction of us almost losing our licenses because our government deciding we only want big shops now to grow and you just have to buy it from them. And all of us with licenses were like, well, we really like having licenses. And I think other people should be allowed to have licenses because not everyone's going to grow. I mean, I don't even think they need to give licenses away. They should just let anyone that wants to do it. And you'll see that it'll crush the black market before it crushes the real market. That's what it did.
The government should just get out of it completely.
That's what I'm saying.
And I go buy mine.
You go buy yours?
Cucumbers.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. I don't grow mine either. And it's like, honestly, I would still love to grow my own cultivars and make my own rosin and make my own hash. But would I be super stoked if there was a place just today I could go down and buy like full melt, 99.999% dry sift heads, wet wash, like all sorts of different. Of course, I'm going to be stoked on that, and I'm going to go support that as well. I'd support pretty much every aspect of access that we could possibly have with this plant.
Well,
hey,
I disagree in one thing, and that is that if you're going to grow it for your own use, there should be no government control whatsoever. If you want to sell it, then you have to protect consumer safety. In other words,
I agree,
make sure they're not spraying poison or selling mold or whatever the problem is.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's no other thing that you can sell to consume, particularly something that you're blazing and inhaling into your lungs. You'd think there'd be like a special, like, oh, we treat this stuff a little differently because it's not actually going into your stomach, but it's actually being inhaled into your lungs. So we just got to make sure that, you know, I guess unless it's recreational, because look at what people inhale in their lungs with cigarettes. Like, how is any regulation making cigarettes safer for people to inhale? They're pure toxic garbage. Yet they're allowed. There's no regulation seemingly needed to control poisonous cigarettes from being inhaled into people's lungs.
All right, beautiful people, I'm going to step out at this time and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Mele Kalikimaka. I'm going to go get ready for some Christmas lunch. So, love you guys.
Will you do me a favor and
Merry Christmas, brother.
Give your sister a kick in the butt for me?
Yeah, I shall. Don't worry. I have. Have a good time.
Merry Christmas, Etienne.
Merry Christmas, ATN.
Christmas, everyone.
Careful, Sam. She's gotten real good at extortion over the years.
This is supposed to be childproof. I'm 28. I can't even go open it and get my damn weed out.
Jeez. And I thought you were only a child till 26.
Jeez.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to take a page out of Etienne's book. If everyone wants to take a chance to say goodbye to everyone on Hash Church, we'll do it a little differently today. Each one of you can take your own turn to say goodbye to everyone, and I'll finish it off with the last goodbye. So go ahead, whoever wants to go first.
Adios, everybody. Have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Bob Weir and Codfish.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Long time no see. Hope to see you guys again at some point soon.
Be nice to each other. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching us all the time, you guys. It's fucking awesome.
Mother lover.
Mother lovers. You got her.
Yep, I appreciate all the love I get from being here every Sunday and from all the people who chime in on it. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And
hey, does anyone want to come over from Rose?
Everything's supposed to change this year for the better, according to all the scams on YouTube. Let's see.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I just want to say, obviously, thank you, everyone, as always, for showing up, the panelists as well as the viewers. Whatever inspiration you get to show up every week, it sure fuels us to show up as well. So I will also say Merry Christmas on this December 25th of 2016. And, of course, a Happy New Year coming up in 2017, January 1st. And as always, may the full melt, whether wet washed or dry sifted, bless your bowl sooner than later. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.